Welcome everyone to another edition of Play It Through, and on this edition it's Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers 2, brought to us by Capcom. Rescue Rangers 2 was overlooked by many gamers since it was released so late in the NES library. However, the game featured the same great two-player gameplay that the first game offered, but even years later many fans still consider this inferior to the original Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers game. However, no matter how you look at it, the game is still a very solid action platformer for the NES. So here we go with Rescue Rangers 2 on the NES. Just like the first game, you can pick 1 or 2 players, and then you get to choose if you play single player, whoever you want to play as, either Chip or Dale. Once again, Chip is my favorite, so I'll be picking him in this run. We then have a story sequence to get us into the game. As you can see, as we begin the first level of the game, we're still very small as the world is very large around us, which gives this game a very unique atmosphere. You can also see, though, that the graphics and overall detail to the characters, especially Chip, are a little bit better in this game. Our gameplay, however, remains pretty much untouched from the first Rescue Rangers game. We walk around, jumping from platform to platform, picking up many different boxes laying around for either protection or to use against our enemies as a weapon. One key difference comes down to the items that we collect. While you will still see stars scattered around the levels, we now don't collect flowers, we collect RR emblems, which are Rescue Ranger emblems, as you can see the squares with the RR inside them. In this area, take the upper path, as you should only have one enemy to really deal with on this path. It's one of the bugs, so just wait a couple seconds, and then jump over him as he lowers down from the ceiling. Inside the sink, hit the big box to make Zipper appear, who will not give you invincibility like he did in the first game, but will help you out as he raises the water level so that you can get over and get to the first boss battle of the game. Before the boss, though, you'll get an extra couple health from Monterey Jack, and then we have a cutscene with the boss before we actually get a chance to fight him. After that rather lengthy cutscene, we now go into the actual boss battle, and you can see there's multiple different platforms with water rushing everywhere. When you're standing on the platforms, the water will push and pull you in the different directions. You have to wait for a box to fall down from either the right waterfall or the left waterfall, pick it up, and then wait for the opportunity to launch it at the enemy so you can do damage to him. It will take 6 shots for the boxes in order to defeat him. You should have plenty of space though to keep away from him while you're picking up these boxes. In the game, every boss you fight will have a specific object that either will fall, or he will throw out himself for you to pick up and throw at him. This makes each boss battle in the game take a lot longer than it did in the first game, especially when it comes to the final boss of the game. After each level, they will count out the amount of Rescue Ranger emblems you collected, and then you go to a small minigame. For this minigame, you pick up the red ball on the left side, then launch it up into the air to hit one of the 2 objects that are actually contained. You have a white star and an orange star. The orange star can give you 2 extra lives, whereas the white star will only give you 1 life. After defeating the boss, we now have to disarm the bomb. You have to either pick the blue or the red wire. No matter which one you pick, you'll still defuse the bomb and you won't take any penalties for doing so. In Rescue Rangers 2, you can see there's no map screen in order to pick what level you want to go to next. However, 3 of the last levels in the game, 3 right before the final stage, can be selected in any order, so you do have a little bit of choice when it comes to which order you want to complete certain stages in. However, you can't skip any stages and you're going to have to work your way through all of them no matter what. As you can see, Stage 2 takes place in this sewer, and we have different fish jumping out of the sewer water. Be careful to avoid them. The most obnoxious enemy, though, is probably going to be the bats. They stand still for a couple of seconds, and then fly in whatever direction you're currently at, usually. So be careful while trying to avoid them. However, as you can see, though, the level's rather short, as we're already at the boss. This boss is our first real challenge of the game. He actually has to shoot out the projectiles in order for us to grab him, as he has these rocks that he swings at you. You have to make sure that you're at least a little bit on screen for the first rock so that when it hits the ground it'll actually land and you'll be able to pick it up off the ground. Usually what I like to do is cause one of the 2 blocks, usually the second one since that's the one that won't land, by doing a jump in the air that'll cause it to go off screen and avoid me altogether. Even though it doesn't take too many hits to kill him, it will take a try or 2 maybe to get the rhythm down and making sure that the rocks land so you'll be able to pick them up and throw them at him. After level 2, we move right into level 3 without a cutscene. As you can see in this level, we have these butterflies that fall down from the ceiling, and at first, when you get to this part, you're going to have to launch the heavier rock down into the pit, and then jump on it in order to make it over the large gap. The hedgehog or porcupine enemies are rather easy to avoid, as they're very slow and you can just jump right over them. With the butterfly enemies, however, they will float over you and then drop pollen on you after a few seconds, which can mess you up. In this large box contains a baseball, which is a projectile weapon that you can carry around with you for as long as you want to. However, it's rather slow, and you may accidentally hit yourself in the head sometimes when throwing it up in the air and trying to hit damage to enemies, as you can see right there. So usually while playing the game, I don't keep it with me very long. Our next boss battle of the game takes place in this area as the screen slowly scrolls upward. As long as you're usually 1 platform ahead of the boss, he shouldn't be able to hit you at all during the course of this boss battle. You will have to alternate between the left and right platforms in order to grab the boxes that are on them to do damage to him. Wait for the right opportunity. When he jumps to that middle platform from either left or right side, that's really going to be your big opportunity to do damage to him with the boxes. And you see I wait, launch the box, and then quickly get away before he's ever able to get one shot off at me.